Hello, my name is Blake Patterson, and welcome to Real Values. On this week's episode, I discuss Zabriskie Point. Critically dismissed upon release, Michelangelo Antonioni's Zabriskie Point has regained attention due to support from scholars like Jonathan Rosenbaum and Richard Brody. Like the auteur's masterpieces, Antonioni's only Hollywood release is a mesmerizing achievement in how the master observes the chaotic moment of the socio-political dynamic between the counterculture and the American establishment as shown through capitalist and police officers. Even though its lead characters are a part of or lean toward the counterculture, one of the most surprising facets of Zabriskie Point is Antonioni's unapologetic confrontation with the contradictions on both sides of the argument. While one may agree with one side versus the other, no side is truly heroic or villainous in Antonioni's portrait. Antonioni relies on the ambiguity of action and theme to unnerve the audience by challenging their viewpoints. The film opens with college protesters in a campus meeting to discuss their intentions for the cause. While one may expect a stereotypical view of the protesters, Antonioni captures the ideological contradictions among the people in the meeting as they disagree with how they want to approach the system. During the opening credits sequence, Antonioni incorporates Pink Floyd's score to convey the tension boiling underneath the surface in the meeting. The audience feels they are preparing for an eventual event and how it will speak for the time. Once Mark Frechette leaves the gathering, Antonioni explores the experiences of Frechette and Daria Halprin as they gradually connect. From police brutality to endless corporate logos, Antonioni subverts the idealism of a nation unwilling to recognize its true darkness. Mark and Daria's union happens due to his escape through an airplane from the law for being framed for murder and her trip to find a development for her position under a capitalist. Antonioni creatively choreographs their meeting through Mark's choice to fly his plane over Daria's vehicle. While it serves as a motif for their eventual romance, the dynamic confirms a post-Dean notion of a woman being fascinated with a rebel. It is humorous to display this initially through different modes of transportation when they are products of the capitalist industry. Their trip to the titular desert allows Antonioni to experiment symbolically by coalescing their lovemaking with nature. The rich texture of the sand and natural structures provide an ethereal sensation for their escape from the banality and cruelty of American life. Once Mark and Daria part ways after painting the airplane, Antonioni finds another way to subvert a convention by having Mark's death as the result of an officer's decision to move his arm upward in defiance to aim and kill the young man in the stolen airplane. The body movement is reminiscent of an earlier arm raising in the meeting sequence, confirming the contrary nature of both sides against each other. They may ideologically disagree with each other, but their behaviors are similar due to the building blocks of frustration toward violence. While he is most often recognized for his modernist handling of narrative through atmosphere and symbolism, Antonioni does not receive much credit for provoking questions about the human condition. Though his symbols may be aggressive in their anger, there are ideas within the frames about everyday problems, even in its 1969 narrative. Those questions come into play when a loss or violent act occurs because it causes the viewer to wonder how human behavior can conflict with ideological intention. Suggested as a socio-political act of revenge, Daria learns of the location of her profession and goes under a small waterfall before entering the building. The waterfall cleansing emanates Daria's spiritual relationship with nature, and the water is a motif for giving her motivation to move forward. As she enters the artificial building, the viewers acknowledge the everyday idealism capitalists and their loved ones want to aspire to in their lives. It is the American dream as a picturesque facade to distract them from the daily obstacles of any person beneath them in class. The shot of Daria exiting her vehicle as she looks at the building intrigues viewers to wonder about her intentions. While one can understand her grief, the viewer asks, is she going to harm people or vandalize the property? To the audience's benefit, Daria harms and vandalizes by exploding the building as Antonioni focuses on it from different angles. Then Antonioni transitions to footage of various items of material, like fancy clothes and a television set, exploding to the music of Pink Floyd. If the campus meeting suggests tension beneath the surface, Antonioni concludes the motion picture by building toward catharsis in an apocalyptic spectacle. It is an eerily beautiful and emotionally haunting set piece to behold because it complements the contradictions of previous scenes and Antonioni's assessment of the human condition. Then one realizes if the violent destruction is a fantasy in Daria's head with the lightly hued reflection upon her, with zero damage on the vehicle or around her. As Daria enters her car and drives away against the sunset, Antonioni expects the audience to wonder about the future of America and its constant battle sociopolitically. When international masterpieces like Playtime and Weekend spoke to the national crises within France's identity, it took an Italian master to confront America's identity in a time of peril. Of course, there is only one director who could subvert Antonioni by making the definitive portrait of America. Robert Altman with Nashville, my favorite film. Thank you for watching this video. Have a great night.